Today on the channel, I'm going to be talking about Google Ads for home buying companies and everything you need to do to set yourself up for success. Hey, I'm Ed from 10,000 Foot View, and I've got another Google Ads quick tip for you today. Just before I jump in, a reminder to please like our content and subscribe to the channel. We post about Google Ads at least once a week. Okay, so as I mentioned up front, today I'm going to be talking about PPC or Google Ads for home buying companies. These are businesses that buy homes for cash. They will typically pay under market value, fix up the home, and then they'll either flip it or they may rent it out. There are other kind of business models, but that's the most common. Businesses in this category run anywhere from like a mom and pop operation that are flipping one house at a time to national, well-known brands that cover the entire U.S. market. In terms of Google Ads eccentricities, excuse me, the home buying market does fall into the category of personalized advertising restrictions. And that means that you cannot use zip code targeting for your campaigns. If you do that, they'll get disapproved. You can convert zip codes to coordinates, which will give you a pretty close match if you do want to do it. But honestly, with the way Google Ads targeting works these days, you're best off really just targeting regions by names. But again, if you want to do it, you can't convert those zip codes to coordinates. The other restriction related to that is demographics targeting. So you cannot set bid adjustments or exclusions for demographics for gender, age, parental status, or marital status. You can, interestingly enough, set restrictions for income level, bid adjustments if you're using manual bidding, or exclusions. In terms of trademarks, which is a really big issue in the industry because everybody copies everybody else, you won't be able to use trademarks in your ads. We do see with a lot of advertisers in this category that they try to get sneaky and they change the words a little bit so that they sound like they're their competitor. I would just avoid that completely. The last thing you want to do is create brand confusion when somebody's coming to your website. You're paying a good buck for a click in this niche. So we work with our clients, like we very specifically have a language we develop so that the creative is unique and doesn't sound like every other advertiser. So along with that, obviously, you don't want to start using words that sound like your competitor's brand. In terms of search campaigns, that's going to be your bread and butter. Most of your budget should be going there. The big thing with search campaigns is avoiding queries that are related to your industry but not specific enough. So search queries like real estate, agent, for sale, right, when you're actually buying, loan, lending, mortgage, which again are related but not what you're offering, grant, and many, many others. So, if you kind of don't know where to start up front, then just be diligent in going through your search terms report on a regular basis and clearing those out. In terms of main benefits, and I kind of alluded to everybody using the same thing, but what you're going to tend to see and what you're going to probably offer to is a fast guaranteed sale, a simplified or an easy process, being paid in cash, avoiding agent and other fees, and instant or quick turnaround offer, right? And then most advertisers will use trust factors like, hey, we've been in business for 20 years. We've purchased 50 homes, review our testimonials, we're BBP accredited. I also still see a lot like as seen on ABC, NBC, and that's actually just from a press release service. And I think most consumers these days, they kind of look at that and they think it's kind of cheesy. So we've kind of gone away from that with our clients. I mentioned before, and I mentioned again, just creating a language that's unique to your business, and this niche is really important because everybody does sound the same. I mean, it's important in any business and any form of advertising, but especially so when all the competitors are lookalike. So kind of think through like, what wording, um, what creative copy you can use that's distinctive from everybody else. In terms of budgets and cost per click, I mean, you're going to probably be paying $20, $30, depending on the market, cost per click. You can get them cheaper, but then it tends to be that those queries are not as relevant, don't convert as well. So really, if you're not spending 2 or 3K a month, you have no chance at all. And really, you should be thinking 5K plus as a starting budget in this market, just so you can generate, 15, 25 leads per month, and that will allow you to optimize the campaign. Next up is remarketing. So, if you're running search, you could leave remarketing until you've kind of launched a couple months in and just, set up your audiences ahead of time to start collecting visitors. And we would usually segment those audiences to like 7, 30, and 60-day, maybe 90-day remarketing lists, so that we can compare performance. But the window varies by consumer, right? So it depends on kind of when they put their house for sale and how much they're struggling. But we do see even the 90-day list does work quite well. But we do see more activity on the shorter term, because usually when somebody's made a decision, they're going to sell their house for cash, they will find somebody to work with pretty quickly. In terms of creative for remarketing, you definitely want to use unique imagery. You can, of course, use AI these days, and it generates pretty good quality images. But the best is actually to take images of houses that you've actually purchased. Those will be very unique and realistic, and probably representative of the target market as well. So they're going to resonate with those people that are looking to sell their home to you. Um, the other thing is that most advertisers still run remarketing ads on the display network. We've moved away from that. We're mostly running demand gen now, which allows you to run ads specifically on Google's own network, which is Gmail, Newsfeed, and YouTube. Just much higher quality inventory. You're not going to see click fraud with that. You can, by the way, optionally in demand gen now add on display network if you wish. And the other nice thing is you can run both video and traditional display ads, meaning responsive display ads at this point. Once you're kind of getting to like 15, 20,000 a month in ad spend, I would say that's a good time to add Performance Max into the mix, because what that can do is add additional search query inventory that you're maybe not already reaching. And it can work further up the funnel to generate some incremental leads from display and discovery network, but can also help drive more performance through things like your branded search, and even just like traditional search campaigns. All right, so the last piece is really campaign optimization notes, and that is that you tend to get a lot of garbage search queries. I kind of alluded to that earlier. So one tool that's really good to consider here, particularly if you've got like 3 or 6 months in, is to use the ngram script. What that'll do is break down all of your search queries into smaller chunks, and it'll kind of explain to you like, hey, what two word keywords or queries are actually wasting ad spend and which ones are actually generating conversions. And that can kind of give you a roadmap to figuring out your negative keyword strategy and enhancing your existing target keywords. In terms of tools, really the big one here would be CallRail, is what I recommend. We're a CallRail partner, so take that with a grain of salt. But definitely you want to have some kind of call tracking solution. We see that about at least a third of leads in this market come in through phone calls. Obviously, your experience will vary depending on how obvious you make your phone number on your landing page, whether you're including in your ads and things like that. But we do see, typically pretty high lead volume coming from phone calls. So having a solid call tracking solution is really helpful. You can certainly use the Google Ads website call tracking tool, and it works okay for Google Ads. But if you decide you want to add Microsoft Ads, Meta, if you're doing SEO and other things, CallRail will capture all of those calls, so you can see how the different channels are working. So for $50 a month, $100 a month, that's going to be in that range. You're going to get a lot of utility out of that and probably improve your performance pretty significantly. All right, so that's basically it for this market. I know I went through things quickly. I do have a companion article that goes into all of these elements in a lot more detail. I'm going to post a link in the description. But that's it for today. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you next time.